let's do the generate static params for blog posts, why don't we? So we're going to need to, I believe it's at this level here. And so we already have our generate static params up here for our page. Is it right here? It is right there. So let's just steal this. And I'll walk through everything I'm doing, so it's not going to be all for naught here. So at our slug page, below, we'll do it above, doesn't really matter. Above generate metadata, we'll do generate static params. We're going to wait get payload, but instead of pages, we'll do blogs. Payload find posts. Limit, sure, this will be blogs. And then anything that's not draft, not override access. We don't need to worry about home. All right, so we just need to map and return slug in the return params. So now we're initializing payload. We're querying all of the blog posts by doing payload.find, limit of 1,000, so like we'll never hit that number. And then all of that is going into our params, which we're returning as an object slug. So that should work. I'll try it on our rebuild here. But before we do that, let's also get redirects in here as well. So we'll come over to our page. We do have our redirects component here, and it's already imported over here. So that goes within, we'll do the article, and then we'll need to set our URL. So again, we're just going to take that from here. And this is only going to matter if there is a blog post. So we'll do URL slug. And then that'll be the redirect there. And there should be another redirect in here as well. Yes, if there's no page. So instead of what I did with down here, where I just did this like 404, we would actually probably return redirects for URL. There we go. So now it'll redirect if it's there. And then it should also do not found. Let's make sure that that's right. So we can do blog, future blog. Yeah, there's a not found page right there. It doesn't look great, but we can style that later. Perfect. And so since there's no redirect, it goes straight to, within this redirect, there is a not found, where if redirect item, if it's there, if disable not found, return null. So if I were to disable not found and then go to blog, future blog, I should just either get an error or something. Yeah, I'll get an error. So don't want an error. Let's go ahead and leave disable not found enabled, or let's enable not found. That's totally what I meant. And then anything else will be return not found. And this is where we would style. No, it's not. We would have to create a not found file to style that. But again, that is something that we will do later. But our blogs then should be set. And so if we want to make sure, I hesitate to try and build this because there are just so many other things, but let's give it a shot. So we're letting this try to build. I do have some other type errors, so this may not actually build, but I do want to be able to see if our SSG is working, because I have it set on both our pages and our blogs. Yeah, props, page props, property. So this is on blog slug page, blog slug page. Where is page props? Okay, so this is not where I thought we would be getting an error, but let's take a look at this. We're just gonna steal from the docs here, but that's what the docs are there for. Always look at the docs. All right, so we do await params dot slug. Let's see if this works. All right, so I'm taking exactly what they wrote, I believe. So we have our export async function, generate metadata with our params, with params being a promise of slug string, and make sure that slug is what I'm trying to target, which it is. Here, let's clear that real quick and just refresh to make sure that I'm getting what I need. Okay, so this is the only thing that's there. A required parameter slug was not provided as an array, received in string, and generate static params. Okay, so the problem then, because I'm trying to, okay. So next step is up here and generate static params. So this metadata stuff is not even what I'm supposed to be working on, it looks like. So I think I can leave this here since it should work, but the problem though is in our generate static params here. So what is it expecting? So if I come up here, generate static params, there's no type. And so slug should just work just fine. So let's go ahead and log params just to see what we get. Go ahead and refresh. Should get something from this one. Yeah, so then I see it's an array of slug params, which should be correct. Okay, so I think I have it as, it doesn't need to be catch-all, and that's the problem. So let's rename this. Yeah. Okay, which means then the slug doesn't need to be 0 anymore, and neither does this one. So I hit save. Is this still, nope, my future post. Perfect, okay. So that was a whole mess. All right, so we can get rid of you. Let's try that build function again, shall we? Or wait, is that another error? Or is that from before? Let's take a look. I get so many errors from this. Let's refresh. Okay, so yeah, still an error. In our export async function blog, params, props, slug. So let's set our type up here to match what is over here. So we'll just, again, copy and paste, take you, param slug dot ID, okay. Which means then I can, instead of that, just do props. Come down here and do the same thing where I have props, and we're gonna await params. Oops, do it the same way. Await params dot slug. That should get rid of all of our errors. Again, I'll clear the console real quick to be sure of it. Hit refresh over here. Perfect. So let's try that build again. And here we'll just take a second because it's going to do the optimized build and then lint check. And then here I've got some more errors. Yeah, okay, so I won't be able to, because I don't want to delete this file. This is going to be our RSS feed, and I just have so many things that are commented out. So if I go to blog, feed, route, TS, all of this is just commented out. So, all right, so we're not going to be able to build. No biggie. I kind of trust that our generate static params is going to work for at least those. So we just have some more work to do on everything that we're doing. All right, so let's take a look at our to-do list. We have our generate static params for blog posts. And what we want to do is on-demand revalidation with hooks for individual posts. So this shouldn't take too long, honestly. So if we go to our collections, we go to our hooks, I have all of these revalidation hooks already. And we just need to make sure that they're set up right. So this is, let's get this reorganized, shall we? Yep, there we go. So this I kind of liked that. No. So I don't, this is from an old project. This I would, like a collection, I would query a creative collection of items to add the extra layer to the slug, but we don't need that here. So what this is saying is that if our document status is published, so we have published and we have draft, create a path that is our blog with the document slug, and then tell me that you're revalidating that path. And so that's going to log it, and then it's going to actually revalidate the path by using revalidate path from Next.js. So that's a Next.js thing there for cache. But if the previous doc status, so the original doc in this is an after change hook, then if that's published and the doc status, like the new doc status, is not published, then it'll revalidate the old path and then return that old path as well. So then it'll return the doc as a whole and purge the cache and return the new document on the front end. So all of this is done with payloads hooks, which I believe I should have set up in posts already, and I do. But what I did for another project is that whenever like a new post was updated, it would need to revalidate all of the path for all of the other pages because there were relationships between the two, and I just didn't know a better way to do it at the time. But we don't need to do that anymore. Well, we still need it for blog, so it'll revalidate the blog page. We don't need to do anything in the media page. We don't need to do anything with the slugs, and we don't need to revalidate the home page. And I'm actually going to use the blog posts on the home page, but what I want to do is use partial pre-rendering to do that for me. So that'll be a whole other thing. I'm not even close to getting to there yet. I guess I am. The blog posts are done. So now we have after operation, which this is going to say after operation of create and or of delete by ID. It'll revalidate the path blog here. Do I even need, oh yeah, rec for the logger. Perfect. So that's going to take care of my posts for me. And then while I'm talking about hooks, I'm going to go ahead and go over, I'm just making sure there's no other hooks in here. Hooks. There are more hooks. Okay, so this is for the canonical. This is to revalidate posts. All right, so this is for the slug. Okay. No, not for the slug. This is for the link, the final link that I can just copy and paste. Then we have our description. So if the description updates, it's going to revalidate it. I don't even think we need this because if the description updates, it should only affect the featured post. So I wonder if we can do content description. So if we get data, which we have, so if data dot, why is the if statement weird? All right. Do you guys need to move? All right. If data dot, okay, so maybe it's not data. Oh, it should be doc. Doc. It is data, but original doc, if original doc dot, man. Maybe sibling data. Sibling data dot, where is it? It should be a featured checkbox or something, which is probably in the sidebar, but that's fine if it's in the sidebar. Let's do featured. So then this is an all kinds of mess. There we go. All right, so in a perfect world, what this is doing is it's saying if the sibling data, if the featured field in all of this is true, which that's what this is, which is what this is saying, then it'll revalidate the home page and the blog page. But I don't really need to revalidate the home page because the featured post won't have descriptions, but the blog page will, so we'll leave that. So we'll hit save, and let's see if we can make this work in our posts. It says network error, but I should still be logged in. And then we'll test this and then call it a big old quits if it decides to work. Yes, there it is. All right, so go over to our posts. All right, and so we have a featured post right here. If I open that, and then let's go to edit our content description. This is even longer. And hit save. Revalidating blog app path blog test. And so we're not going to be able to see anything change because even though this revalidated the path like we wanted it to, we think it did anyway. So let's go back to our posts and update this one's description. Revalidating blog. Oh, so we actually wanted this to be revalidating homepage and blog page. So feature or sibling data is not the right one. Let's hold on, featured. All right, so I believe then validating blog page. So maybe it's just data then. And then else nothing. So let's save that again. And this is why we test things. So we're going to go back to posts. We're going to go to our thing here. And then, yeah, there we go. So it's revalidating the blog page because the description has changed. Since this is a featured post, if the description changes, we'll want to go to blog to see. Yep. So the description, is this a, oh, it needs to be on the summary field. Of course it does. So let's change that. So instead of it being there, we can just add the hook. I'm going to add it to the bottom here. Hooks. So now when the summary changes, this will change automatically. But of course, since this is a development server, this is just going to hot refresh regardless of what I do. So we're not going to do anything there. All right, perfect. So we have talked about our on-demand revalidation with hooks for individual posts. So that should be done now. We can make sure that this is good for our pages as well. And yep, that looks good to me. And then let's just go double check our pages collection here and make sure that there is nothing else. Create canonical is what we wanted there. Search for hooks. Revalidate page. Oops. Hooks. Create canonical. Perfect. All right. So we've got our hooks done. So the next step is we are going to start working on our contact form and then start building out these industry pages that I've been talking about for weeks now. And then wrap it all up with schema. I'm sure there's going to be other things that pop up as we go through this. There's a bunch to do with payload and a lot of optimizations that we can do before deploying this. And honestly, this won't, well, it'll be deployed just so I have something to show off. But at the end of the day, this is something that I'm going to be able to clone and use later on down the road. But if you enjoyed this, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I'm going to be doing this at least 2-3 times a week, just depending on my schedule. At least every Sunday night, I'll be doing this. So make sure you're subscribed and that you see when I go live. Like the content, share it, and I'll see you on the next one I do. If you do have any suggestions for topics, feel free to send them my way. I'm happy to explore them. I'll see you next time.